if you see something, it's the imaginary LS. Wait a minute. Where the hell's the oh, hey, it's on the ground. What's up, guys? Today's been kind of hectic, running around doing errands and stuff. I went to FTI this morning. I got the transmission fluid. I got 3 gallons for the transmission and to fill the converter. I went to the local racetrack where they sell ethanol. I actually picked up 15 gallons of E85. I went food shopping. And I went to Ace Hardware finally. So I got a whole bag of bolts. As you see here, like I said, I replaced all the bolts on the rear cover, as well as the oil pan. You can kind of see the gold hardware in there. Everything is the grade 10.9. So rear cover, oil pan, torque to 18 foot-pounds. Front cover, I double checked the torque. And then I also had to get new bolts for the bell housing, because it's an aftermarket case, I had to get extra length because the flange is a lot thicker. So basically right now what I want to do is I'm going to go grab the flywheel and the flywheel bolts. I'm sorry. Yeah, the flywheel. It's not a pressure plate anymore. I'm sorry, it's a flex plate. I keep forgetting it's an auto now. A flex plate. So I'm going to grab the flex plate and the hardware. I'm going to screw onto the crank, and then I got to figure out how I'm going to jig it to hold the flex plate in place so I can torque on the flex plate. Yeah, so I'm going to do that now. All right, so the directions say torque to 85 foot-pounds. All right, so now you see it. The the flex plate is torqued down. It is on the correct side. You can switch these backwards. So it does say engine side on the opposite side. And as the directions state, torque to 85 foot-pounds. I used the lube. Good there, 85 foot-pounds. So I got that all done. I'm gonna shut it off. So now, one thing that I did learn about the LS, I guess with the year and the model that I have, you basically have to get, this is a crank snout extender for the torque converter. So this guy literally just slips on right inside the crank nose like that. It'll just tap right in place, if I can find something to tap with. Either way, you get the point. That goes there, and then the torque converter will slide right on. I'm probably not gonna bolt the torque converter on yet. I'm gonna end up having to fill it with fluid, and then I'm gonna attach it to the trans. I'll slide it on the trans, and then when I go to mate the trans to the engine, it'll kind of be loose, but that's not a big deal. I'm gonna wait till everything is in the car and I can get access to underneath, and I'll tighten the torque converter then, because I also need to know depth, spacing wise, because the converter has to be spaced in a way where it's in the pump enough and not in the pump. So the guy that had this set up before me did not have a mid plate, so hopefully the spacing is actually correct. But if he did or did not, then I have to finesse with some spacers, which isn't a big deal. I'm used to doing that with Brian's car, so luckily that's taught me a thing or two. So yeah, I'm excited. This is really looking good to possibly going in the car this weekend. And here we have it. I have my 5.3 liter LS, stock bottom end, bolted to my level 5 FTI Power Glide. Level 5. So basically this transmission is good for about 1500 horsepower in a significantly heavier car than mine, so I don't think I'll ever have an issue breaking a trans. Wearing it out, like the clutches will wear out over time, I agree, but as far as like parts, I don't think I'll break it. We actually run a 5.5 in Brian's car, which his car makes 2,200 horsepower and his car weighs about 3,200 pounds, and we've never broken anything in the transmission. So that gives me good confidence to say that this will last me a while. So I was glad it was a good investment. It was a one-time deal. So as I mentioned before, actually I gotta show you guys this. This thing's badass. So everything for the trans is good. I got the shifter cable bracket, shifter cable. Obviously it's loose right now because I gotta make adjustments when I get in the car. I got the lever arm, and then that end will go to the car. I got these two lines right here that are gonna go to the oil cooler when it's installed in the car. Now this little line right here, it's the vent tube. The vent tube now goes down to the catch tank down here. And then this little guy right here, I have the trans dipstick. It's actually pretty gangster. So it comes with, I'm gonna pull this little line off real quick so you can see. If I can get it off, there we go. So this little guy right here, it's a locking dipstick. So this little guy is a plug. So if I ever have to pull the trans out of the car to service it or anything, you take out the dipstick and you put this little plug in. But now if I need to put the dipstick in, you just put the dipstick in the tube and it locks in place the same way that does. So now it's the dipstick, and up here it's got a flange to bolt to something. Now this going in the little Miata, like I have no idea how the hell I'm gonna bolt this because this is really long. So I might actually just use this when I'm checking fluid, and I might run it with the plug. This isn't vented or anything, so it doesn't need to necessarily be in here unless I'm checking the fluid. But per NHRA rules for how fast the car will be, the top piece actually has to lock. So if I could set the GoPro up right here. So the top of the dipstick, I can't just pull it out right here. I actually have to release this collar, and the dipstick will come out and it will show, you know, the level of the fluid, just like any other dipstick in the world. But it's super flexible, it's super badass. I mean, it was really expensive, but you know, safety stuff like this, like a locking dipstick to prevent any fluid from going on the track, that's kind of what's needed. But like I said, if I come down here and if I ever need to pull the trans for whatever reason, you slide this collar down, you pull the dipstick out like so, and you put the little plug in. So it's kind of a cool deal. And then I'll put the vent line back on before I forget. Oh shit. All right, so there is no reason why this can't go in the car right now. Obviously right now what I would need to do is the car needs to go up in the air, subframe needs to come off, that way I can slide it in. Problem is I'm by myself right now and I don't have any help, so that's kind of what's stopping me. And I have to go to Nick's to get the valve covers. I mean, obviously, if I wanted to, I could put the rockers on, put the push rods in right now. I have all that stuff in the closet, but realistically, there's no reason to do that right this second. So yeah, so I'm kind of at a standstill right now. I mean, obviously, I could put this in the car. I don't want to do it alone. I am super afraid of damaging or scratching the paint at all. So I'm gonna have to phone a friend, use my lifeline, and hopefully get some help coming in tonight so that actually goes in here. Yay. Oh, look at. I finally made the nice 2-hour round trip to Nick, and I picked up the valve covers, and man, oh man, do they look sick. And I mentioned before that I'm actually doing the coil pack in the copper, so it's gonna look like this when it's done. So the wrinkle black's kind of like it'll be kind of hidden, but I mean, that is going to be a killer combination. I am so freaking happy. And again, thank you very much, Nick. So right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of moving a bunch of shit in the garage. I need to basically make it so the car spun around here, and then I have a friend of mine, Grayling, he's gonna help me put the motor and the trans in the car tonight. So yeah, we're gonna situate that and get that ready. So I'm excited. So I kind of messed up. I completely forgot to turn the camera on just because I've been excited. But Grayling did come over and we got a lot of progress done. So let me present you the LS that's inside the Miata that's almost finalized. I cannot begin to tell you guys how excited I am and extremely how grateful I am for Grayling to come help me. The engine and trans is bolted in under their own bolts. Finally, the engine, the motor plate's torqued on, the water gaskets are in place. Like, big deal. The valve covers, the intake manifold, they're kind of resting on. I got to take them back off to put the gaskets, but I only had a lift point for the 4150 flange, so I had to lift the engine in that way. And yes, I did go a little bit overboard and I started putting stuff on to mock it up just because I wanted to see how pretty it was. But this, like, I've been dreaming about this moment for a very long time, and seeing it in front of me, like, it just doesn't feel real, you know. When you build a car, you go through the mock-up phase, you know, the raw materials, you know, the rough everything. My bay was absolutely trashed for months just because I'm careless because I knew it was going to be painted. But now when you're talking like the bay's freshly painted, all the stuff is coated, everything is finalized, like, it's just a super surreal feeling. Like, it's coming together. Like, I got a smile like glued to my face right now. I'm so excited. Like, we're probably a week or two out from firing the car, and that's just me you know, going at my own slow pace. Like, I don't want to rush anymore. There's no reason to rush anymore. Just take my time and get stuff done. So with that being said, I have to clean up my mess. But yeah, she's man, I'm freaking pumped. So I'll probably film another video tomorrow, but I just want to share with you guys. Got some progress done, the motor's sitting in, so now it's time to start doing all the final work, and yeah. So hope you guys have a good night. Keep building your cars, wash your hands, don't get sick. Coronavirus is serious. You don't want to get it. So I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.